What up, y'all? It's your boy Ben here, back again with another Pokemon Pocket video for you all. We're diving into this week's meta report, which is actually the final meta report before we get the Mega Shine coming in. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you all think of the new set? First impressions, let me know. But as we do that, let's go ahead and wrap up just kind of like the top 10 decks that has just been ending the season on a high note here. And as you already see, no shocker, no surprise, but Suicune, Baxcalibur, Chien-Pao EX. Now this is again one of the reasons why I'm holding my breath for this newest set, because Baxcalibur has turned this meta upside down, something that we used to see so dominant of, which we'll talk about at the end here, but of Hydreigon, Absol, of Suicune, Greninja EX, but to come in brand new card and just immediately just take overtake just that kind of #1 spot. This deck has been topping tournaments over this weekend. And what I mean by topping, I mean coming in on first place. This energy accelerant of its Ice Maker ability into Suicune to draw your cards, into Chien-Pao as your finisher, just really kind of gives you a solution to all problems that you may have. And even just having one of these and clearing for 90 is amazing, because you just obviously generate that energy, so you don't have to worry too much about this 3 energy need either. So this has been settled into it. I'm really curious to see how this may evolve, may not evolve. We thought for a while that we were going to be stuck with Suicune and Greninja EX, who could overtake that? And to find that this, it got taken over in its own typing, its own water typing, makes me hopeful. You know, asterisks here. It does take probably a few sets, so maybe Mega Shine won't be it, but something can come up to just kind of topple this thing. But I do like how we had new cards inserted from the set to really just shake things up. Then we continue on to our Mega Altaria EX Greninja. If you're talking about reliability, if you're talking about consistency, if you're talking about knowing your game plan and sticking to it, this is really the deck for you here, right? You're filling up your bench, you're slowing them down with your Chingling. You are able to just lower their health down with this Greninja. Mega Altaria EX is kind of just easier sweeper here. There are some variants that run me out over the Chingling, but some folks have really just done well with the Chingling, not only just coming in first place, but taking, top 2 with a lot of consistency. Folks bring this deck in a lot, and it tops out well as well too. So still maintaining higher win rates when it comes to that aspect as well. But between your options of just not only hitting for 130 because of your Mega Altaria, but just to boost up in of itself through the training area to boost it to 140, and through the Greninja chipping down your backlines, you don't want to see 2 Greninjas, especially on this board for Mega Altaria. That 190 HP allows you to survive hits as well, and to finish the game with a Cyrus. You're playing against this deck and you have a Mega, you gotta be real careful, because all it takes is 1 Water Shuriken and a Cyrus in order for you to be able to do so. And with the way Greninja is out there, I'm really surprised to see not many decks incorporating protective ponchos, with some decks think that they can go faster, but this is set up, this is really, really hard to stop. And then our last deck here that came in first place over the weekend, as well as Bellibolt EX, which is really, really cool to see. If you have all the luck in the world, this electric generator is such an amazing card. But this variant is interesting because we've seen a lot of folks use the Bellibolt Magnezone decks, but this deck is the one that came out on top. And just quite frankly, I think you're just really concerned about getting Bellibolt EX online rather than charging up for your Magneton to then get to your Magnezones and then attack that way. Bellibolt EX here is your attacker, right? You're essentially saying, I am going to have 4 energy by the time that I'm ready to attack, right? Whether that's through Pichu, whether that's through Zeraora, whether that's through the charge of Tabo, you're saying Bellibolt EX is online on turn 2. Here's 140 damage. What are you gonna do to me? A lot of times people can't, right? It's just really hard to get going. Your best draw here is very quick and very hard to compete with, because your best draw allows you to have 3 energy on the board turn 1, and that's before your energy even got generated on the energy zone. right? Like, so like being able to have that then flip into it and an attack right away, like your opponent has no time to set up their bench, no time to really evolve or anything else like that, because you going first into a stage 1 that's hitting for 140 on the third turn of the game, it went you, it went them, and then it went back to you. Like, that's incredible. So no surprise here to see this take one over the top over the weekend. Getting these cards, like best draw against best draw, is you're just way too fast for the meta to keep up with, because 140 again is incredible. Getting 4 energy through this deck is not difficult. So kudos again to the meta shakers here, right? Qian Pao with Max Caliber, Belly Bolt EX here, just coming in, making their own decks and being like, what's up? We then move to another variant of Mega Altari EX. Mega Altari is just a great card, y'all. Gorgeist here, putting in work for it as well too. Stage 1 and getting the benefit off the trading area as well. So being able to hit that 80. You're fine with discarding cards once your bench is filled up, and or have cards to just replace that bench for your Mega Altari to come in, but being able to snipe in 70 and or 80 damage pretty quickly for just 1 energy, and then you're backing everything else up. Like, right, you're setting yourself up with another Gorgeist if you need to, or setting your Mega Altari is ready to go. Like, it's just great. It's just, again, fast hard damage here to then follow up with more fast hard damage is really just the name of the game plan here. 80 into 140, 220 within a turn, but then that's only if they take out your Gorgeist in 1 turn, right? Like 110 HP is nothing to scoff at. So you know, as a standalone, you're kind of like looking at the second card being like, oh, I don't want to discard my hand, but when you're able to follow up this card that's like very low energy, very cost efficient attacking for high damage for what it is, like again 1 energy 70 damage into your 2-coster here, it's a very strong pairing, and is reason why it's on this week's meta report to end up the season, right, to wrap up our season. And then we continue that with another shaker upper here, being in the top 4 during this weekend. It was like pretty sweet to see Meowscarada EX come back fighting, right? Like, before, it started off because it had the novelty of Flower Trick. People were testing it out. Then people got comfortable, saw Suicune, saw Belly Boat, shiny things, fast shiny things, and then it went away. And then folks were just kind of like, hey, the Meowscarada is fast. Meowscarada is disruptive. Like, first turn, evolve into Flower Trick, and then hit your opponent for 70 that they're trying to back up. When we take a look at this, right, like 70 clears his Punkaboo, 70 clears his Tadbulb, 70 clears his Froakie and the Swablu, like 70 clears his Frigibax, right? Like, they need to evolve and or swap out or retreat so that way they don't lose their stage 2s or their stage 1s, right? The basics for that. And like, that is what's carrying those decks, right? You can do work if you can like survive by putting 2 Swablus up and doing all those things, but then you just ping the one with energy, right? Like, you can't survive with the Tableau, but you start knocking out the things that have the energy on them, right? Like, there's ways to do that, but getting your go at there, Flower Tricking, and then they have to play around and move things around. Folks aren't just equipped for that. So being able to do that twice, or even Flower Trick, they get hit up, Cyrus into a Solar Beam, that's 150 damage in there, and then just this good old Meowscarada, the non-EX hitting for 130 damage. It's really, really good. So getting them weak with Flower Trick to then follow up with this Fighting Claws, that's 200 damage right here as well too. So you have to figure out what your game plan is, since you only have 2 Sprigatito in this deck, but oftentimes you're pretty much really equipped with, once you start Flower Tricking, to then kind of see where your boardscape is, to then go into second Meowscarada EX or into the Meowscarada and call it a day. Even folks who are running Oricorios can't really get around that, because you can hit around them, which is like really, really sweet when it comes to this deck. We then continue to seeing Mega Absol. Mega Absol is finally appearing on this list. Like, this list, this week we just kind of like scanned the number 1s of the tournaments, and then like the number 2s, and then the top 4s, and like everything else, and like Mega Absol is like over here. And I mean, what you really are looking for this deck is just trying to find your pieces, right? between Chingling for disruption, between Greninja for disruption across the board in terms of like no one is safe, into Mega Absol for getting rid of the trainers, into Darkrai with the ping and the residual damage, right? Between all of this, you have 60 worth of damage just due to ability, and then you can follow up with an 80 attack here, or just even a Jiggly Dose for 10 and have some before they take you out. Some folks like to include a Mars in here. Maybe they get rid of a copycat, or maybe they get rid of an inflatable boat, and they like to add in the Mars and set up Chingling gets knocked out, Chingling gets knocked out, Mars, and then like Mega Absol. But I like this kind of feel for it too, because right, like in that one you're relying on things getting knocked out, and you only really have one EX that like you typically won't have up into the front. You're still kind of like hiding behind either your Chingling or a Greninja before you like send out your Darkrai until it gets ready to attack. So Mars might not be the best here. I kind of like this 12, but I've heard of that and I was just like, it could be interesting. So convince me otherwise if you think that is the case. We then move on to another interesting one that just kind of slid. It just got third, which was like pretty cool to see. And just again, these next two decks actually is just what healing can do for a deck, right? If you're just a thick mon, healing does a lot, and it's just very hard to get through. So Mega Steelix being 220, then you're getting into your Animation rolling, that's 120, then you lose your weakness, then you also get minus 20 damage that following turn, then the Heavy Helmet attached to this makes it minus 40 for the damaging turn, then you have 2 Lucky Ice Pops and 2 NDD EX. And a Pokemon Center if you need to. So this is like 20, 40, 70, minus 40 from their attack, 70 heal, and 1 possible turn. And then God knows how many that you're gonna pop off with this Lucky Ice Pop. It could be 20, it could be all the way up to 200. Like literally this thing, people can flip heads for days, and it you know, people won't bat an eye at it. So this is all about just really pushing through your opponent. And that's all that this is. You're literally just pushing through your opponent. You're willing down with the 120 because you're literally saying, you can't beat me. You just don't have enough firepower to get through this healing. You don't have enough firepower to get through this lower damage. So I'm going to win this war of attrition no matter what you try to do. And if they have any kind of overcard shenanigans, Onyx has its basic, it's 100, but you can prevent damage while still attacking for 30 and or 50, and that like leads you to do pretty well here. Do love that Brock still can find a home now that Mega Steelix feels pretty nice. So you can continue to like make room for some of these older supporters as well as these newer packs come out. And then we go into Guzzlord EX, followed by 2 Indeed EX. Guzzlord on this hand, 170 HP, so not the 220, but it is a basic. You're still going for 4 energy for 120, but you get to be disruptive, right? Like you get to, even starting place gets to boost you up to 190, which is actually pretty sweet. Heavy Helmet, attach that as well. You have your Lucky Ice Pops, you have your Pokemon, certainly you have your Indeed. So the whole ordeal for healing happens with this deck as well too. But you get to get away with Grindcore until you're ready for your Tyrannical Hole, which just sounds like a crazy sentence to say out loud. But Grindcore, being a Team Rocket grunt every single turn, you flip heads, you get heads, you're disrupting your opponent from trying to attack, and or even just getting 1 heads means that they have to put the energy if they want to continue to attack, therefore slowing down what they were trying to do in that backline and setting up for whatever for their bench. So Grindcore can come up really clutch, or it can be a dud, but either way, you're setting yourself up to attack and then having them to go through that again, right? Like you have 1 Lusamine in here to generate that 2 dark energy for that second Guzzlord to go on, attach that, and so that way you can attack. So once your Grindcore is up, you kind of just throw 1 in the backline for Tyrannical Hole, in your second basic, so that way once the first one gets knocked out, you can attach that Lusamine and then attack for that 120, and then you build up again. So attach 2, put 1 in the back, and then keep building up, so that way Lusamine can hit and hit nicely for that. But again, these last 2 decks just screams out thick. You can't we have an effect here that makes it really hard for you to take us out, whether that's through the slower damage or whether that's through just straight up disruption before we finally take you out with our 120 attack here, and we have too much heal for you to do anything about it. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Then we go into Dark Tina. Dark Tina making some appearance this week. This last card over here is Peculiar Plaza, just you can play it as a one of. Just similar old Dark Tina. You wait till third turn. Once you get to turn 3, you're able to attack, and then you're just using your array of supporters to get through it. I'm very curious if we're going to get Dark Ramp for Mega Gengar EX, because this kind of deck immediately goes away. Right, like this deck. I mean, these decks that are like really relying on these supporters are just like gone. Because, and like even, it's like really nice. Like even Cyrus gets like your ninja gets shut down. Like those combos, these gets gone once Mega Gengar EX comes out. Because you can't play any trainers at all. That is tools, that is items, that is supporters, that is stadiums. If it's a trainer card, you can't be played. So this could have a strong counter coming up here in like 4 days, but until then, it's like what we saw before, where you just have everything for every situation. Now that you have starting planes and even a Dark Cape, you shoot up to 180 or even 190, which is like stage 1 levels of megas, as just your basics here. Peculiar Plaza allowing you to switch this for free. Your red, reaching up even to higher damage. Rocky Helmets to get the ping. You don't have to really worry about Oricorio because your ping, your Rocky Helmet, your healing just outlast what the Orico is trying to do, so that's really strong in of it, that stuff. So this is just Dark Tina doing Dark Tina things, being able to attack really strong, being able to ping, being able to heal now with the inclusion of Indeedee EX really does make this a formidable deck. And then last but not least, we got Mega Absol. And this is actually really interesting. Combing through, folks aren't as quick or as maybe as excited to pick up Hydreigon again, whether that's through fatigue, meaning too tired of playing with it or too tired of playing against it. But we're seeing, or at least I am seeing less and less of it at the top ranks of tournaments across. Obviously there are some really sweaty ones where you're going to see a lot of them, but there are just some ones where folks are just like, I'd rather play this and win with this. I'd rather play my Suicune Excalibur. I would rather play my Bellibow. I would rather play Alolan Ninetales than Excalibur, right? I know that's not even a deck that's like here, but it's great, right? Like this has been the villain. This deck has, there's been villains in each of the metas, and this has been reigning like villain for a little bit now. So not even having just a counter, right? There's like no really direct counters for this deck, but for the fact that there are other decks that just feel better to play, as people are like, kind of like, what are some of the best decks that I should be playing? Any of those other decks, I mean, you can essentially win with any deck, but being able to play with those other decks, folks are finding more success and probably just having more fun with it. But at the end, this is just me rambling about how this deck is just really cursed. It's strong. You turn to get 130, and then by the time that they go through 2 of those, you're then coming in with your Mega Absol EX, finishing things off. You have your Poison Barb, such a Nihilego going down, Absol to hit things when they try to run away or you Cyrus back up. Mega Absol does Mega Absol things and makes you safe from everything else. This deck is really good. It's still really good, and I just think, again, this probably means so through player fatigue that we're not seeing it skyrocket up here, but this is still, like, is it still cringe to play? Probably. Probably. But let me know, y'all. This is this week's meta report. What are y'all playing to finish out the season? Let me know down in the comment section below, y'all. And I hope that you all are excited and hopeful for this new pack as much as I am. All right, y'all. Catch you on the next one. Peace.